Hi there, Rose Coleman back with another quick video. Today I'd like to show you how to do the starburst technique, which is what we used on the background of our scrapbook page here. It uses pattern paper, strips of pattern paper, so it's a great way to use up those little scraps that you may have. So let's get started. So you take an 8.5 by 11 sheet of cardstock, and what I've done is I just used a pencil and made it into quadrants, and I've covered it with some adhesive. And you want to take strips of 2 inches by 6 inch strip of designer series paper, and you want to take your paper cutter and put it in the cutter to cut it. I'll show you how I did that. So this is my 2 and 6 inch strip, and you put it in your paper cutter from corner to corner, and you cut it to get 2 wedges like this. To do a full sheet of 8.5 by 11, you're going to need 28 pieces. I'm using the designer series paper called I Am Me, and we're just going to start by putting the wedges down on the middle of the quadrants, if that makes sense, along the lines first. I find it easier to do it that way, so I'm just going to quickly stick these down in random order here. I'm just lining them up against the lines, like this. Let's see, some blue in here. And this is a wonderful way to use up all those little scraps that you may have laying around in your stamping supplies, scrapbooking supplies. So I've got all my little corners done. So now I'm just going to fill in. But this is the tricky part, because when you fill in, you need to back up your wedge a little bit. And what I mean by that is you want to cover so that you're covering the edge of the cardstock. So don't worry about the middle, because we're going to cover that up with our page mat, our photo mat. So you want to stick one down, and then the second one, you need to pull it back a bit to cover the corner. And then another one. And you're going to be left with this little wedge here, which is okay. You just need to grab another one and just overlap it. So you're going to need 8 for your cross, and then inside each little wedge here, you're going to need 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 more. 4 more. So 28 total. So you just continue all the way around, filling up your cardstock, and when you're done, you'll get something that looks similar to this, and you can see what I mean by the middle not looking so good here, but that's okay because we're just gonna cover that up. So you want to flip your paper over, and then take your scissors and just trim off all this extra part, all along the sides, and that's what's going to give you that nice starburst look. You can also pop this in the paper cutter too and cut it. Sorry, this part did not want to stick. So for the scrapbook page, for the 8.5 by 11 piece, I cut my strips 2 inches by 6 inches. I found that to be a good size for this paper, and also for if you're designing classes and you want your paper to go further, 2 inches by 6 inches will give you the most bang for your buck, I guess. So here's my photo mat. I'm just going to put that in the middle, and you could put a 5 by 7 picture on here. I also, on my scrapbook page, I sponged the edges with some soft suede to make it, give it some more dimension. So that's the scrapbook page. You can also do this technique for a card. In my card clubs this month, we did a card. This one here, I cased it from Don Olchowski's Do Stamping website. And what you do with this one is you just make a card like normal, but then this piece up here, I'm just going to show you quickly how to do it. So I start with a piece of Whisper White that measures 3.5 by 3 3/4. Then what I did was, I drew a pencil line down the half of the 3 3 3/4 side, which is 1 7/8. And then what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some adhesive on here. And the wedges that we use for the card are 1 1/4 by 4 inches. So you, and then you, sorry, 1 1/2 by 4 inches, and you put those in your paper cutter the same way, cut them diagonally, and you end up with 2 strips. So I've also used, I'm using some pattern paper for this card. I'm also using some cardstock that I've put through the embossing folders, so that looks kind of sharp too, to incorporate some texture. So you just start with the middle and just work your way around. This technique you're going to need to use 6 strips. So I've got 1, 2, and 3, and 4, 5, and 6. So once you've got them all on there, you're going to have these 2 corners left, and then you just flip this over, and you're going to cut off all your extra. But the beauty of this is you don't get rid of, you still use these extra ones too, because you've got these 2 little corners and you've got these 2 big pieces. So what I'm going to do is make sure I've got lots of adhesive on here. I'm going to take this pattern, I don't want to put it next to this yellow, I'm going to put it over here. And this pattern, I'm going to put it here. And then trim it off, and my whole piece is covered. So now you've got your starburst technique. Quick and easy.